It's Wulf, and it's a 15 first impressions. I haven't done one of these in a while, and normally I do these on games that I've either received a key for or that are free to play, but there is a game that has been on my mind for a while that has had such a sort of strange release news cycle thing that I really wanted to cover it. So it is MindsEye. So again, let me reiterate, because I know that there's been some weirdness with like sponsorships and like what people are saying with this game and stuff. I was not sponsored to review this game or anything. I paid for it completely with my own money. In fact, it just got delivered to me a few hours ago before recording this video. And likewise, I have not been paid to say anything negative about it, because I know that there's been rumors about that as well. The gameplay that I'm going to be showing in this video is mostly going to be from the first mission, so it's actually like the 15 minutes after the first 15 minutes of the game, because the game starts with a couple cutscenes that take probably about like 10 minutes or so to get through. And I haven't played like any more of this game, so I don't know where the story goes, but supposedly there's going to be like twists and turns in this game, so I don't want to spoil anything. So anyway, just a heads up, that's where the gameplay is from. Before I talk about playing the game though, I want to talk a bit about the stuff that led up to this game, because it's kind of a wild ride. So on YouTube, the first trailer for this game, it looks like, was uploaded 2 years ago. And the thing is, this game actually originally was supposed to be part of a larger thing called Everywhere, and I also rewatched the trailer for Everywhere, and Everywhere, it looks almost kind of like what Fortnite is doing now, where there was like a lot of user-generated content, and the graphics and everything for Everywhere also have that sort of semi-cel-shaded look that Fortnite's pretty well known for. But then I remember when they announced Everywhere, they also announced MindsEye, and MindsEye looks kind of a lot different than the Everywhere stuff, but supposedly it is made like with Everywhere. And so originally MindsEye was supposed to launch as like an experience inside of Everywhere, but now MindsEye has been launched as its own thing, and Everywhere hasn't really had any new updates, and MindsEye also has its own user-generated content stuff too now, so it had sort of a really strange beginning. Also, funny enough, looking at the old original MindsEye teaser, it's the main character, Jacob Diaz, looks so much different, and it's funny because a bunch of the comments were like, oh my god, Lincoln Clay from Mafia 3 is back. Anyway, as for playing the actual game, so there's a couple weird things that I noticed right off the bat. So for one, this game does not seem to have subtitles, which is a little bit odd. I don't really need subtitles when I play games, but I do kind of like to have them on, because in video games there's usually a lot of noises going on, so sometimes you can't always hear what characters are saying. And also for people who are hearing impaired, subtitles can be really helpful for them to enjoy a game. Also, I had heard that this game may be locked to 30 FPS, and I noticed in playing that that seems to possibly be the case, or that at least in the areas that I was in, it wasn't really getting that much higher of a frame rate than 30 FPS. Overall, the graphics of this game actually remind me of a game that I've played a lot on the channel recently, which is Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. I've played that on live streams a handful of times because I don't know, I kind of like Solar Crown actually, even though it got a bunch of negative reviews. But the graphics here remind me of that, because they're not as good for PS5 as you would expect, and the frame rate is kind of choppier than you would expect. The cutscenes look pretty good. It's not that the game looks that bad, but the game doesn't look as good as other PS5 games. One thing I do need to try though in regards to this is I need to try to turn motion blur off. I did leave it on while I was recording this video because I just wanted to record exactly how the game plays right from the get-go. So that is why motion blur is on in this video, but I probably will turn that off and try to see if it looks any better with that off. In terms of story, this game did not really reveal that much about the story before coming out. The general basis of what they've revealed before the game came out was that you're playing as Jacob Diaz. He's ex-military, he has a weird implant in his head called the MindsEye, and he wants to figure out what exactly it is. In the first 15 minutes of playing, that is pretty much also the only thing that has been told to me, but I mean, that kind of makes sense. I'm not very far into the game. The story is where I'm very curious about this game though, because the gameplay I had seen of it, it looks like a third-person shooter. I mean, I wasn't like super impressed with the gameplay or the graphics and stuff anyway, but I was curious about the story because they've been very quiet about it, and sometimes that can be a good thing because that can mean that they're trying to hide twists and turns in it and stuff. I think that's one of the ways that Cyberpunk 2077 kind of screwed up, was by revealing the whole Keanu Reeves thing before the game came out, because that would have been such a good twist in the game. But anyway, there's not really much like known about the story of it. I mean, I'm sure there's probably people that have already finished it and like posted any spoilers or whatever, but I don't know. There seems to maybe be something weird going on. I read an article somewhere where I think one of the game directors or somebody involved with the game said something about that this is just like the Jacob Diaz thing is just like a part of the story and that it spans some really long time. And then also some of the stuff that happens in like the first couple of cutscenes, I think there might be some like deeper things going on than it maybe seems like on the surface with just like the cyberpunk type of stuff. I don't know. If I'm giving a really early guess, and sometimes I've been pretty good at guessing what is going to happen in games, I have a feeling that this game is going to either lean into aliens or secret ancient societies. That is my guess so far. And that being said, so far the story and gameplay of this game reminds me a lot of Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, because like all the technology stuff, it's like a even more dystopian Watch Dogs. But then some of the like, I don't really want to say that there's been mythical elements so far that I've seen, but there's been some sort of stuff like that kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed a little bit. And then I guess the last major thing to go over is the gameplay. Now, most of the bit of game that I played so far was cutscenes, so I haven't played like a ton of the game, but the first mission kind of introduces you to a lot of the basics with like driving and shooting and stuff. And I mean, it plays like a third-person shooter. It's not really anything too crazy. The animations do seem pretty good, even though the graphics are kind of eh. But there was like a specific animation for walking upstairs and stuff that I noticed, so little details like that are pretty cool. Also, funny enough, this game apparently has licensed Polaris like side-by-side ATV vehicle things, because you drive one of those around in the first mission, which is kind of funny. I should also mention the user-generated content aspect of this game. Now, I don't know if that's actually out yet, and also since I'm playing on PS5 currently, it doesn't look like I would actually be able to create any content, but I would be able to play it. I looked at the menu for it, and there are a whole bunch of like extra missions already out that the developers of the game, I believe, put together. I'm not sure how it'll work with content in the future, but in some ways it kind of reminds me of Infamous 2's user-generated content features. Infamous 2 had some user-generated content features, and they were actually pretty in-depth, although you couldn't necessarily make like as perfect missions as the actual developers, but you could do some really cool things, and there was a lot of cool missions that were released on there. That's sort of the vibe I get from MindsEye, although I believe that you're supposed to be able to make missions that are like of the same caliber as the game has. I don't know, I guess I'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the talking portion of this 15 first impression. I'd say overall, and keep in mind that this is based on just half an hour of playing this game pretty much, if I wasn't already so curious about just to see what the heck was even going on with MindsEye, if I was somebody who was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to buy it right now, I'd say I don't know if I would have wanted to pay the full $60 for it, but I do think I would have probably bought it at a lower price point. I don't know how good or bad the rest of the game is, but it does sort of seem interesting, and it is nice to have like a single player game when a lot of games coming out now are multiplayer or have like tacked on multiplayer components and stuff. So anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I was not paid to say anything positive or negative about this game. See you in other videos, and here's the rest of the gameplay.
We need the room.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Yo, this is important. Come on. Leave it until...
Okay, what do you got for me?
RFID alert. Employee Matthew Conti, robotics.
Looks like a piece of the latest PCB tech.
That's a MindsEye.
What?
I'm guessing your neural and cognitive memory sites have been impacted, yes?
Jacob, this is Lars Okada, our Chief Technology Officer.
Please, Lars is fine too.
What do you know about my implant?
He's clocking out, quick. We need to put a tail on him.
Okay. I recommend an XCS stealth drone. Between range and speed, it will be more than adequate. Your implant is a very rare specimen. What Americans refer to as a collector's item. Built by the late Hunter Morrison for the Silver Corporation.
Morrison?
Boys, Conti's getting away.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me give you flying clearance. There. You're good to go.
Probably wary of being followed, so use common sense. Get too close and he'll spot you. But if you're high or too far back, we'll lose the tracker signal.
I think I can manage.
According to our records, Conti lives on the other side of town. He's not going home.
The probability of him going to meet a mysterious buyer just increased exponentially.
Except that this is one of the many roads around the city. He really could be going anywhere. There's another rogue bot down there by the side of the road.
Looks like it's out for a stroll.
Let's not lose the target.
Use the zoom function on the camera to check the vehicle identifier. That's it. Get closer, hold steady.
No ID. Tag's busted.
Or this guy doesn't want to get caught.
An item such as this would certainly command a high price on the open market.
There are multiple parties out there who are highly motivated to get their hands on our tech. Retain visual contact at all times and we'll find out the truth.
What is even out here? Looks like a whole lot of desert.
That's because it is. Miles and miles of it. But it's peppered with old factories, disused mines, the occasional warehouse, and believe it or not, some people even live out here.
Seems like a nice place not to be bothered by anyone.
There's another one of our rogue bots at that gas station.
Maybe it's looking for some car parts to make friends with. What's the range on this drone?
The Raven XCS has a range of over 1,000 miles, so we're safe anywhere in the whole western part of the continent.
So as long as he keeps driving, I can keep flying.
This could be like taking a vacation without leaving work.
All right, you two. Before you start mixing yourself margaritas,
He's slowing down.
this is the track to Red Rock Plains. Used to be a paper factory back in the day, when people still used that stuff.
Why would they make paper here? It must be hundreds of miles from the nearest forest.
Red Rock has an extremely beneficial corporate tax structure which attracted all kinds of companies.
I take it he's not here for the wildlife.
Seems more probable he's come to a perfect place to get away from prying eyes.
Wonder if he's meeting someone. Don't see any other cars. This is the old factory he's coming to now.
Is he stopping or just passing by?
Looks like he's alone, for now. Try not to drift. Keep watching. Don't let him spot you.
He's out of the car and on foot. Looks like he's going into that building.
Don't move. Keep it on him. Oh,
He's stashing the tech.
it's a drop-off.
Should I stay on Conti?
We'll deal with him later. Stay with the PCB. I want to see who comes looking for it.
Up there, on the roof. I'll mark it on your lens. It'll give us the best visibility.
Now we just wait and see who comes for the package. If there's any activity, the drone will ping me. Otherwise, you're done for the day. Good job, DS. Okada, always a pleasure.
Hey, Lars? What else can you tell me about this Morrison?
Well, Hunter Morrison was a visionary. His research into AI is the foundation for Silvercorp's proprietary technology. See, he developed a series of prototypes meant to fuse an organic host with AI.
Okay.
No examples of these prototypes have been seen until now. The real question is, how do you have it?
It was part of my gig with the military. Where can I find Morrison?
That is the million-kroner question. Morrison left Silvercorp some years ago. No one has heard from him since. Yes. Okay, I'll be right up. Wow. A Morrison original. You should be part of his collection in his office.
Wait, he has an office?
Yes.
Here?
Yes. Mr. Silver refused to let anyone touch it. It's exactly as he left it the day he disappeared.